Mother just said, Lance got as far away from me as he could. I haven't seen him in probably 25 years, and he's still not getting close. For those of you who don't know, I'm Andy Tuck. My mom's misspoke, and I was the second of the 8 grandchildren. And Eric, we kind of grew up together, and then as lives, parted, as we had our own families, and we didn't see each other much in our elder years, but we always seemed to be able to pick up and where we left off. But Eric was a brilliant guy. He was very, very intelligent. I know that he scored like a 1300 on the SAT the first time he took it. I took it 3 times and never cracked 1,000. But Eric had one flaw that he never could get past, at least the one that I knew about. He never knew when to make that word the last word. He always had to go one over. And growing up, we'd always go to Indiana for Christmas, and I was kind of intimidated by my Uncle Eric. He was a big guy, and kind of serious and pretty strict, and he always just kind of scared me. He's an old man now, so I'm not too worried. But my aunt was totally different. That woman petrified me. She scared me to death. And when she come unglued, there was an open-handed slap coming your way, and you better determine where it was going to land, because she wasn't worried about it. And Eric was the recipient of those open-handed slaps on a regular basis. And I remember sitting there, we were probably 12 or 13 years old. David Rouse knows what I'm talking about. I haven't seen him in 40 years. But we were sitting there, and I said, Eric, you know how many butt whippings that you could have avoided if you would have just shut up one word earlier. And he said, he looked at me, he says, you're never going to have any fun in life. So, I'll end with just to illustrate what I'm saying. When they moved to Lake Placid, my aunt and the 6 kids moved to Lake Placid. Eric was in the 10th grade, so we started 10th grade together. I told my uncle this story this morning because I had kind of forgotten about it. I was telling somebody about 3 weeks ago for whatever reason. I was telling this story, but we would always ride the bus to my grandmother's house after school. And I can tell you the date. It was October 15th. We get a call to come down to the principal's office. Myself, Eric, and a guy named Donnie Bush, who lived in the neighborhood next door to me. And the principal says, do you know why you're here? Of course, I had no clue. And he says, were you shooting spitballs on the bus? Well, I was getting ready to deny it. And of course, Eric right up said, yeah, we were doing that, but it wasn't no big deal. We didn't hurt anybody. So we went through the whole spiel about how we could have put eyes out and all that kind of stuff. And, he says, so what kind of punishment should I give you guys? And being the strategic thinker that I was, I knew for a fact I didn't want my mom knowing about it. For sure didn't want his mom knowing about it, because she'd have told my mom and we would have both been in trouble. So I piped up and I said, I think you should make us call our dads and tell them what we did, and then suspend us from the bus for a month. And my thinking was, Eric got his driver's license the next day, so he could take me home. And I didn't really care how Donnie got home. And I knew my dad wouldn't care. I knew Donnie's dad wouldn't care. And I knew Eric's dad was 1,000 miles away. So I had it all planned out. And so I said, so I told it to the principal. The principal says, he says, what's your dad going to say? I said, well, he's going to be upset. He said, well, how are you going to get home? And I said, well, my dad will have to come get me, I guess. He looks at Donnie and he says, how are you going to get home? He says, I guess my dad will have to come get me. He looks at Eric, and Eric says, "Well, I get my driver's license tomorrow morning." He said, "I don't need to ride the bus anymore anyways. Besides, my dad lives 1,000 miles away." I was so mad when we left that meeting. To this day, I don't remember what the official punishment was. But I was going to remind Eric of that story next time I saw him, and that time won't come. So he will be sorely missed, and we pray for this whole family. So,
Yes.
thank you.